Welcome to the Tech Assembler, and in this tutorial we'll be discussing about Ion-modal. So what is Ion-modal in Ionic and how to create it, plus the data passing between the models and your pages to and fro from your pages, and the CSS, how we can apply the CSS and customize the model according to our requirement. Like by default it opens in a full page, and how we can uh, uh, modify it to open in a half page, plus the size of the model. So we'll be discussing this all. Be seeing that how we can create this model and how we can apply the CSS over here to make it customize it according to our project or according to our requirement, and how to pass the data to the model, and when we dismiss it, so back to the data to our home page. So let's begin. Our project structure, and you can see over here I don't have any pages. Like by default we have home pages, but I don't have any pages. So let's create the pages through our CLI. That is, we need to type Ionic generate page, and I will generate it inside the pages folder, and the name will be Ion model. Okay, so just hit enter and it will automatically generate the page Ion model inside the pages folder. So here you can see, just a few seconds and it will generate. So here it is. So this is how it has generated, and let's do its routing. So this is how you can do routing. I already did it, so I just need to remove this section, and so here it is. And the same thing, I also need to generate one component, so that that component will be your model. Okay, so basically the component will be acting as a model. There is nothing special or anything new that will be created in your page like a model. Okay, so model is simply a normal component which we will be using as a model. Okay, so same way we will be creating the components. For that I need to just type Ionic generate component, and inside components folder components, and the name of my component is model. Okay, so just hit enter and it will be generated here inside somewhere component folders. So for that we need to do the routing of that component inside our this created page, or what we call the module. So here we have generated, and I just do the Ionic serve meanwhile, so that it will process the further application. And now just make the routing part of your component. So in this declaration section of your Ion model page, I will type your component name. So the component name is model. Okay, this is Ion model, or component is model component. So here it is. So it has imported your model component from inside this component section, this component. Okay, so now let's see. I just close all things except our Ion model page. So I just type Ion model.html. Okay, so now let's see it is working or not. Okay, I had just served the Ionic, and here it is. So this is the model page. Okay, so we have nothing inside over here. So let's create one button so that it will just navigate to. I just close this image. Okay, and here just we type one button, so that it helps to open the model. Okay, so this is the normal function, and I just write few more things. open model. Okay, and I also associate the function with it, and here it is. Uh, First let's check the function is associated with it. So for that I do the console, and now let's see, and it's working. So yeah, it is working. It is just consoling the open model. Okay, so now we need to create, I just remove this, we need to create the model. So for model creation we need to import one package. So that package name is model controller. So here I just type private model controller. This is the nickname, you can give anything, but for this you need to be very careful, and you need to specify this model controller over here. So just control space and hit enter. It will automatically import it from the package that is at the rate Ionic slash Angular. Okay, and I just comment out this line, and here we need to declare one variable of const. You can take variable also, but the const will empower that you are creating only one model of this type. So okay, so I will name it as a model and use this model controller. Okay, so here we encounter that we have three functions, so that is create, dismiss and get top in this model controller. So for now I am using create, and I will show you where all these functions will be used. So in this create, so we need to pass an object. Okay, so why we need to pass an object, I will just tell you in a moment. So here, what are the parameters it is taking the create functions? Let's see first. Okay, just control and hit enter, or you can just tap over here. So this is the predefined function. Okay, or you can say the interface of the model controller, where you need to specify these of the things. So all of the things are optional except this component. So this component actually is the component which you have created, means which will be presented as a ion model. Okay, so this is compulsory, and in each of this property in front of you can see that question mark, so that means it is optional. Okay, so you can give or you cannot give, so that doesn't affect the model controller. Okay, so, but you need to specify this property, that is component. So we'll be discussing about these all things in the later on. So let's first create the model. Okay, so I just pass over here model component, and here it is automatically imported from our source app, then component folder, then model, and then model component. Okay, and let's see it is created or not. mm, yeah, so it is not giving us anything. So for that we forgot one thing. We need to specify what we need to specify dot present method. Dot present over here. Okay, so this is the dot present method, but it is giving us an error. So why it is giving us an error? Present method does not exist on model. So we need to make this as a async function. Okay, async, and here we need to make it await. So the error is gone, and we need to return it also. Okay, so here I will type return with await. So the means of asynchronous and await function over here is that they make your asynchronous code less clever and more readable. If you use the async keyword before a function definition over here, you can then use await within the function. When you await a promise, means it actually a promise. Okay, the model controller actually returns a promise. The function is paused in a non-blocking way until the promise settles. Okay, so until the promise, or you can say the page is being created and it is being destroyed, or you can say it is being dismissed, so the further execution of this function will wait, or in a non-blocking state. So after that it will run the further of this function. Okay, so this is all about async and await. So let's see the model has been created or not using this async and await. So here it works, the model has been created over here. Okay, so because we haven't done anything in a model, so it's just displaying the white screen. And now let's code something in this model. So in model, basically we have the header, and this model header. Okay, and inside this header we have one more thing, that what we call it as a button, the close button. Okay, so we have one close button, and we need to specify over here the slot, which means I want this button to be at the end of the header. And I just type over here the dismiss method. Okay, so it will dismiss when I will click on this cross. So I name the icon to be close, and it should be icon only dash only. Okay, because I want icon only over here. Okay, so and I just erase the text, and let's see what it does. First, just create this dismiss method inside this component, or you can say the model. Okay, so I just console so that we will be clear that we have integrated this dismiss method. Okay, now let's see it's working or not. And this is our model, and when we click it, so it is consoling dismiss. Okay, so this works fine. So, and just do one more thing, we can give the CSS over here. Okay, so the CSS, we'll be discussing the CSS later on. Okay, so here we have we need to dismiss this model. So the same process to dismiss the model, we need to import the package, that is model controller. Okay, so this can be anything, the nickname, but you need to confirm this as the model controller, the same as the package name. Okay, because it needs to import the package. Then use this controller over here. Okay, so dot dismiss. So now we are using the second method, that is dismiss. Okay, so uh, simple, it will dismiss the model. Okay, so this is our model header, and when we just click it, so it will be dismissed. So now the second thing comes to in mind, that we need to pass something to our model controller or to our model page. So let's pass data to our model page. Okay, so this is a model, and to pass the data we have the second property, that is component props. Okay, it means the properties. So you can just pass the data in a JSON format. So you need to give it a key. I will give it a name. Okay, so name would be, you can say the tech assembler, obviously. And the type should be anything. So I just give here to subscribe. Okay, so let's see that we need to now get these data. Okay, so to get these data, uh, so we just move to our component. Okay, so here we need to use one thing that I already discussed it, when you need to pass data from your one page to another, or you can say the parent to the component child, you need to use the decorator. So the name of the decorator is input decorator. Okay. And here you need to specify the same name. Okay, and it is of type string because the name is take assembler, and it is of a string. And another thing we are also passing is the type, and it is also of type string. Okay, so and now I just need to display this, so I will display in my component only. So for to display this, I just use the component, sorry, content, ion content. So this is ion content, and inside that I use my card, ion card, and inside that I just use the card header. Okay, so we have subtitles. I just remove, and I will be focusing on this. I just pass the type over here, and this is the name. So let's see the name or what data we have passed is being moved to our model or not. So here you can see, please subscribe to our channel, that is Tech Assembler. Okay, so it is being passed from our this page, from our model page. From here we have passed to this page, and we have get through input decorator. And now again we need to pass some data from our model to our page. So for that also you need to give it in a same format like the JSON format. So I just write here from model. Okay, so I just type subscribed channel. Okay, so but I need to bind this thing also in my over here in my page. So we are passing the data, but how to get that data? So to get that data in this our ion model page, so I need to do one more thing, that is model dot we have on dismiss method. So basically it is a promise, so I will use dot then, and then we use one just a dummy, or you can say the data which in which we will be getting. So I use over here mm, from model. Okay, so this from model will be sending me uh, this is one variable. In this variable I'm catching the data, so I need to declare this variable over here because I'm binding this data to my HTML. Okay, so I just give it of type any, and then I will bind this data to my HTML page over here. So for this I will be using the same thing, that is ion dash card. Okay, so and inside that card I will use the card header. So this is the card header, and I just paste it from this like assembler. Okay, and I just remove this thing. So let's see it's giving or not. Okay, so it is just giving this, so I want this to be not displayed. So to hide something in your HTML, you can use this ngIf. You need to pass this expression. So what does this expression encounter? So by default the from data from model variable doesn't have any value, means it contain null, or sorry, it is undefined presently. So undefined means it is false in ng if condition. So whenever the data will be present in this, it will show this ion card, and it will also present the data inside from model in this interpolation mark. Okay, so here you can see we don't have anything that is from the model. And now when I just return it, so I will get this. Okay, if we are getting object, so first I need to console that what we are getting actually. So I will console it dot log data. So in which format means obviously we are getting the data in a JSON format, but we are getting the data in this, sorry, data, and inside data we will getting the from model. So I need to specify over here dot data dot from model. Okay, so I will specify one more condition over here, that is ng if data dot data. So whenever the data dot data is empty, so it will not give this, it will not assign the data to my, you can say, the from model. Okay, from model variable. And now let's see. So just I click, so this is my model, and this I got the data back, subscribe channel tag assembler. Okay, so this is all about the proper making of the ion model. The same thing we'll be doing with popover also. The same creation process of popover is same, only the difference is that we are using the popover controller over here. In my next video I will be telling you about the difference. So what are the similarities? So this is the similarities till here. Okay, so now I will be using some CSS over here. For that I just write the css dot class. So over here you can specify any type of css that you want. Okay, and that css will be applied to your global dot scss. So I just type over here my you can type any name. Okay, my model component dash css, this is the name of my css. So that it will be clear, and I will just open the, sorry, I will just open the global.scss, and this, okay, dot this and this bracket. So for my model, so I will just use over here the width. Okay, sorry, width should be 80%. Okay, so it should be 80%, and the other thing is I will use the border radius. Border radius should be of 10 pixel, say, and then I use the height over here. So height should be of 50%. So it will contain the 50%. So now let's see what does it makes to look the model. Okay, so here it is our model, and we have, so it is just applying something else plus some glitch over here. So for this we need to specify that model wrapper we are using, or we are applying the css to model wrapper. Okay, so wrapper, so we are applying the css to model wrapper, you need to specify over here. And now let's see, so it's perfect. Okay, so this is our model. So I just change the default appearance of model from whole screen to just a small. Okay, so this is, you can create over here, or if you want to open your model to half, so for that you need to specify the same is height. Okay, and just say height is 72%, because I already did it with the 72%, that's why. And I will use the margin. Okay, so margin top, you can say. So the margin top is of 50%, let's say, and let's see how it looks. So it looks perfect. Okay, so you can tap the over here, this is the backdrop. So if you want to make it disable, so you can specify over here also. As I told you before that we have a number of properties. You can just disable the backdrop also. Okay, so and one more thing that I just want to tell you, this swipe, if you can see the swipe to close method. Okay, so this will work with the iOS only, because iOS has the model to be swipe close method. So one more thing that we need to specify over here, that is presenting element. Okay, so the presenting element over here need to be specified with the router outlet. So we need to write over here this router outlet. Okay, so I need to import this router outlet in our constructor. So I just write this the same way and control enter. This is the ion router outlet. Okay, make sure that you import the ion router outlet. More thing over here is that whenever you are using something like that, tabs, you are dealing with tabs, or you are dealing with the model inside another model, so that your model should be pop up, means on the latest model, means it should be on the top. So in that case it may face some problem while dealing with normal model. So for that you need to specify like this presenting element and await this dot model control dot get top. So I told you that we will be discussing about these three method, and the third method is get top. So what it will do, it will do the same thing. Okay, over here, that it will present the model normally, but if you're using a model inside this model also, so then you need to specify that thing. Okay, so let's see, if we just go to the iPhone and then we use this gesture, so it will not show like what we earlier used to do with this router outlet, that it is popping up out. So now it is not popping out, it will be behaving like a normal model. Okay, so let's make its CSS little different, and let's do this. Okay, so like this, so you can just easily swipe it down with that. Okay, so this is all about Ion model. So stay tuned for more updates. So in the next tutorial I will be discussing about popover model.